Hello and welcome, my name's Sam and this is the Little Greenhouse Creates. Thank you for joining me for our second in this week's Scrapbook Workshop Kit of the month. So today is Wednesday and we are going for our second project. So we did our first project on Monday and now we are onto this beautiful yellow. So as before, I've already cut up all the papers and there we go. We are on to our first page. So it is a large piece. Now the only difference I've done really for this is they are suggesting that the pictures are 2 portrait side by side and I'm actually going for 2 landscape, and it's these 2 beautiful photographs. So I'm going to put, I think I'm going to put that one there and that one there. Let's move it up a tiny bit. So the first thing I'm obviously going to do is stick these down onto this piece of paper. There we go. I'm going to use my stamp and seal. So let's do that first of all before we go anywhere. Let's make that bit easiest as possible. So whereas we were on Monday doing a photograph page or scrapbook page of my daughter many years ago, we are now doing this page as totally different, and this is my grandson. So there we go. Oops, there we go. So as you can see, the papers and this workshop kit literally cover all kinds of occasions, not just one. Right, there he is, this gorgeous little boy. Right, so let's do our first thing of adding our glue dots to either end of diagonals of our board. That's one there, and then the other one, whoops, goes down the bottom. And then we can bring our yellow page in and it can make sure it's straight. And by gluing it down or just popping the temporary dots in, we know we can move it around. Okay, so the first thing we need to do is to add our designer series paper. So let's get our little pieces of loveliness popped aside. Okay, let's pop that over here. And we have got 3 pieces of designer series paper. That's all we need today. Now, because I am doing it portrait rather than the landscape they suggested, I need to move the paper slightly up. So I'm going to move this piece to 2 inches by 10.5. So I'm just going to do that now. And I'm just going to stick it down. Let's just do that. Make sure it is 2 inches. Yeah, it is 2 inches by 10.5. So there's the 10.5 and there's the 2 inches. So I'm just going to pop that straight down like that. And then this one literally butts up to it there. Okay, so let's just add those 2. 1, 2, did I put anything on there? There we go. Right, so that's going to move straight up to there like so. All right, straight across. And then the next thing to do is to bring this one up, and that just butts up to there as well. And that literally is all the designer series paper and main work that we need to do for this particular page of the 2-page spread. So let's pop those up there. Okay, and now we can bring this young man in. And it needs to show the paper. It doesn't need to have it, we could do it like that. So there we can have that bit like that. And then I've got these, so I've got the sentiment Beautiful Life. So that could go there. I've got the 2 hearts that come with the kit as well. So we could have one there and one down here. Now this little devil is from the actual stamp set. I've slightly she says, I have used the body of this Be My Valentine for the actual body of the bumblebee. However, I have, and then cut it out with the punch. I have used the wings and the antennae from the dies that come with, that you can get with this bundle. And I'm now going to use the dotted line also from this set for where the bee is going to go. So I'm just working out what I'm going to do is I think I'm going to bring in the old olive. So let's grab the old olive. I'm going to ink it up. There we go. I'm going to ink it up. So obviously you can do it either way. So he could do the loop there. Okay, so let's move him just slightly, and then we're just going to pop that down to there, hold it down for a couple of moments and lift it up. So there we have our little loop from our bumblebee. So he is in place. So let's take this bit off down. Whoops, hello. And we can stick down our pictures. So I'm just going to use my multi-purpose, straight round. Come on, ouch. Got to remember not to do that. It does hurt. And then he's going to go just along there. Let's make sure he's straight. There we are. My little man. And then we can peel off the beautiful life, or beautiful life. And let's pop him, I'm going to put it on an angle, I think. There, straight across there. And then I'm going to put my little bee down. So what I need to do is glue down his wings into place. So I'm just going to dab a bit of glue on either end. Come here, you. Thank you. On there, there, and there. And then I can place my bee. There he is. So that's his wings on. Okay. And then I'm going to add a tiny bit of glue here for his antennae. Lovely. Oh, come here, you. Running away. And then I'm just going to add, oh look, I put it on the wrong side. Oh no, I haven't. I just turned it round wrong. God help us and save us. What am I like? There we go. And there's his antennae. Now I'm actually going to pop these up on dimensionals. So I'm going to make sure that there is one here by his antennae, just to add that extra security. I'm going to put one on his wings, like so, and then one either side here. Let's bring those out. Oh, there we are. Let's bring that off. Thank you very much. And then I'm going to pop him, oops, just where his bee, there, look at that. He can go there, and then I can add the two little hearts, one there and one down here. My grandson looking like butter wouldn't melt. As this one's going over the photo, I'm going to add a dimensional on this heart here. I just don't want it sticking down on the photo. So I'm just going to pop it like so. There we are. And this one, oh, let's do the same with that one, shall we? Okay, so take the dimensional, I'm going to add it here, and we'll just stay there, you. Thank you. I'll just add that one there. So that is the first page of the 2-page spread. Again, I'm just going to pop that aside and we can have a go at the second page. So again, I'm going to use a flip flap. The diagrams say to use 4 photographs, and I believe they're 3 by 3, all of them. I don't have photographs that are 3 by 3, so I'm using my 6 by 4 photographs. I'm just going to use one and then have the flip flap going over the top. This one is also a photograph of my son and his partner and my grandson. And that should be the photograph sorted. So let's take this aside and we can start putting our pieces together. So we've got a beautiful bumblebee paper. This was one 12 by inch strip which I've cut in half to 6 inches a piece. We've got 2 strips of the diagonal paper. I have used my alphabet dies and cut out with some leftover designer series paper that came with the kit. I've cut out his name. But before I did, I put adhesive backing to it, and I've got myself another bumblebee created in the same way as I did on the other page. So let's put these aside for the moment, and I don't want to lose it. Was it gone? I've lost it already. I don't want to lose that dot. That is the dot of the eye. So let's see if I can put it somewhere safe. I'm going to pick it up and I'm just going to put it on my punch so I don't lose it. There it is. Okay, and then the rest of them can be picked up carefully. It's amazing when something doesn't work properly, like my wrist, how difficult other things are to do. Hey ho, there we go. Right, so let's see what the instructions are to page 2, so the right hand page. So basically they're saying, again, another very simple page. This and this go side by side, like so. So that page has moved, so we need to get the dots in again, shall we? So where's my, there it is. So I'm going to put one glue dot in the top left. Come on, thank you. And one glue dot in the bottom right. And then we'll just slip those up. One up there and one down there. Okay, that will keep them in place. So I'm going to line this up at there. So we're just above the 10 1/4 really. And they're going to line up like that. So let's do that with my multi-purpose, and that way we can have the wriggle room. Oh, still not learning. It's when you get into those habits, isn't it? Then you're so used to doing something. Okay, so 10 1/4. There we go. Straight down, and then I'm just going to bring this one in to butt up to there, and again I'm going to use my glue because it will give me that wriggle room. Whoops. Okay, so that goes up to there and that goes up to there. There we are. And then we can add our 2 sections. So that runs across there like that. This then runs across here down the bottom. And then you've got your piece that goes to there. I don't actually need it to be as long as it meant. So let's find my ruler. There it is. And we can work out how long this is. So that is 4 inches. So let's do that. Let's cut these both down to 4 inches. So I'm going to bring in my thing. I'm going to run that right up to the edge there. And then I'm going to cut it. There we go. So that's the 4 inches to go at the top there. And I'm going to do exactly the same. Pop that up to the 4 inches there. Oops. And then pop that down to the bottom here. And then I've got those other pieces that I've got left over. These here I can add to another project. Right, let's get those stuck down. So the first thing we need to do is to do our strip of glue along here. There we go. That goes up there. Perfect. Look at that. One, and then do exactly the same with this one. And that goes onto here. Lovely. And then my little picture, my little man, he will go just here. Look at him. He looks so happy. Take this sticker and I'm just going to make sure it matches up all the way down to there. And the same with that one, which does seem to be just a touch taller. Interesting. There we go. Right. So let's work out. So we've got a piece that will go on here and we can write all the information on. Again, I can't really do that today because of my hand, but I will add that extra bit later. So let's just add the photograph onto our picture, onto our scrapbook page even. There we go. There he is. And then, as I said, I've got his name. So let's pop that down. Oops. Hang on, Mr. Bumblebee. So let's see what we've got. We've got O, L, okay, I, it's that way around, V, E, and R for Oliver. There he is, my little man. Our B will go on here, like so, with his little antennae. And I want my wiggly buzz to go that way. So I'm going to ink it up again in the Old Olive. What I didn't want to do is to put it down and then find it was covered up by his name. Okay, so he's going to go just there, so let's take you away. And we're going to go straight down and straight up. And there we are, his little buzzy bit to go there. Right, so let's stick his name down. So you could use, she says, trying to find it, here it is, my ruler. So what I do is I put it flat on the edge here, put it in the place that I want it to go. I'm going to move him up to about there. There we go. And put him there. Perfect. And then what I can do is I can take the backings off of these now. So I just take the backing off, she says. Generally easier said than done, is always the way. But the adhesive sheets do make life so much easier, because obviously if you're going to try and put glue on these really thin letters, it's going to be a bit of a nightmare. Right, so there's the O. Hold it into place. And I'm just going to pop the O down there. So there he is, O. Then I can bring the L in. Again, pick this off. So, I mean, you could use any sentiment you wanted to. I just felt because of the gap and I wasn't using two photographs side by side rather than on top of each other, I was able to just add the Oliver at the bottom. Okay, come on, we can do this. We can, honestly. There it is. Sometimes I don't realise I've got it. Right, so now this is where I'm going to bring in my little dot that I've saved aside. Let's hope I can get it unstuck. Right, so it is minuscule. It really is minuscule. So I'm going to turn him over. And I'm hoping I'm going to be able to take his backing off. Oh, she says losing it. There it is. Do you know what? Let's have a look. Oh, hello. I seem to have done it. No, I haven't. What I'm going to do is I'm going to leave this for the moment and I'm going to come back. Is that stuck? There we go. Let's see. That seems to have come off, so let's have a look. Yeah, it is. Look at that. Cool. Right, now I've got my V. I was going to leave it, but, you know, the timing was perfect. Perfect coming up. So make sure that's down and my V goes into place. Lovely. Then we can bring the E in. Come on. There it is. Oops. Not what I wanted to do. There we go. Come on. Thank you. All right. Let's put the E. Make sure I'm in the right place. Yep. Put the E there. And there we go. And then the last letter R. Come on. There we are. Perfect. All the way down. There we are. He's as straight as he's going to be. Right, so there he is. There is the word Oliver. And all I've got to do now is add my B. So I'm going to do the same as I did before with a little bit of glue on the wing. So one on each end. Come on, there we go. I'm going to turn that over. And then he can be there. And then I'm going to do the same with his antennae. Let's bring that in here. There we go. And then that can be added to this section here. And again, just turn it over and you can add your dimensionals. And that just helps to keep everything in place and gives it a little bit of a lift. 3 and 1. Go on then, let's put the fourth one in, shall we? 4. Right. 2, 3, 4. Right, and he is going to go, he'll be there. Yeah. Okay, so there's our little bee. They will go there. It will fit in because obviously this is going to peel off. This bit won't be there. So that will go onto there once I've written it. And then I can just add the little hearts there and there. And I'm going to pop, again, like I did on the other page, a heart on one section here. Get off. There you go. That's one heart. And then I'm going to do the same with the other one on here. So there we are. There is Wednesday's Scrapbooking Kit Workshop Project 2. So that's the first page, and let's bring in the second page, or the first page even. And that was the second page. So there we go. We have these wonderful photographs. So as you can see, there was quite a contrast from Monday's to today's, and again there'll be a contrast from today's with Friday's. So do join me then. But whatever you do, stay safe and happy crafting, and I hope to catch up with you soon. Bye.